The healing journey starts always in the moment where you have really enough. And the moment was, I remember when my mother, I could not even be next to her physically.
So you couldn't even be with her physically.
No, in one room. It was impossible. So it
What
was really deep. It was really deep.
what would you feel? Like how would it feel? Like what would happen? Is it the way she was talking or like make you feel
Just her presence. Just her presence. She must not even say a word. I think it was the
Welcome, Uli. Welcome to the Uncomfortably Honest podcast. And today we're going to talk about the mother wound and or like healing our relationship with our mother. And I know that you have been on a 7 years journey with this. And I'm so excited to talk to you about this because I also have some mother issues, as you know. So I think I want to start, why is this work so important and how much does it actually impact our lives that we don't have like a proper relationship with a mother, and what does that even mean?
Thanks for having me here today with you. And yeah, that's a big open question for our conversation today. It means everything because it's your connection to your own divine femininity, if you ask me. And our mother is our first connection we have when we are coming here into this life, before we are coming really into this life. And yeah, it's spreading out in so many different directions, our
Mm.
femininity, and also what is added to have this healthy, peaceful connection to our mothers. What is rare, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, I get quite triggered by it because as you know, I don't have like a proper relationship with my mother, and I kind of want to heal it in a sense. And I try to definitely heal myself first. And somehow it's so hard for me to get a nice relationship with her. So hmm, did you first, yeah, now I have the first question actually. Did you manage to heal yourself? Because there's two things, like, right? Like it's the healing your own wound, but also is it necessary to heal the relationship with your physical mom, your mom?
We can just start with ourselves, because from when you heal it in yourself, then it's happening automatically. And that was the wow, the light moment in my life when I could see her with a certain trigger she did, and it did nothing with me. There was no reaction, there was no emotion, there was no response. And I looked it from a different angle and said, wow, the
Wow.
healing happened. Otherwise, I would, you know, push back or say, turn around and go.
Yeah.
And, all the certain modalities we use in protect ourselves in the end. And yeah, it's everything in yourself first, and then it's really happening automatically. And you don't heal yourself, you heal her, and you heal also all that are coming afterwards
Mm.
in your life.
Yeah.
And yeah, it starts with you. The healing journey starts always in the moment where you have really enough. And the moment was, I remember when my mother, I could not even be next to her physically. And
Yeah.
then you know what I'm talking
I
about.
know what you're
So
talking about. Yeah. Okay, so you couldn't even be with her physically.
no, in one room, it was impossible. So it
What
was really deep. It was really deep.
what would you feel? Like how would it feel? Like what would happen? Is it the way she was talking or like make you feel
Just her presence. Just her presence. She must not even say a word. I think it was the yeah, the energetically field is spreading her light or love directly on the wounds inside of you somehow, and you don't want to feel the pain. So we can go really directly into that until you are not able to feel the pain, to let these emotions coming up and feel it through, and give yourself inside all the needs you haven't get from her.
Yeah.
There is no way into peace, if you ask me.
True. Very true. So what did you experience when you were growing up? Like what was what did you discover on your healing journey? Was the triggers? Like for me, I think it was my mom's emotional distance. That was just, and I had to like take care of her emotions. And um yeah, and the one of the things she always did when I was a naughty girl, she wouldn't speak with me for weeks on end, even when I was a little child. So what was some of your like, because I think it's something for women or for people to actually understand that, because you grow then up thinking this is normal, so just spreading a little bit light on what is actually not normal in a sense. Can you just explain a little bit what was actually the wounds?
In my case, the biggest one was, I believe, the one she was not aware from her early childhood trauma experiences, because she was adopted. She was given away by her mother. But my personal one was that I never felt seen in my needs somehow from her. It had always to look how it is look, how does our family look to the outside, but not how are we feeling inside. Is there a loving environment? I know she did her best, and there is nobody to blame. We know it in the end, because everybody does in the moment the best what they can do with their level of consciousness. Yeah, but this deep her in a state not knowing how to love, how to take care on a girl, on a girl, had a really deep impact on my growing up in my early childhood. And it's really, as I told you before, menstrual cramps, 20 years of my life, not really a good connection to women at all. I never felt comfortable with many women in a room, because I didn't like this jealousy between women and so on. So I really loved to be in a field of men. Also, my studies in the end where I studied a technical engineer, in surrounded by men. I feel much more better than being surrounded by women.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this not feeling, not be seen in my needs, I would say that is the biggest one. That was my biggest pain.
Yeah, I think that was definitely mine too, and I can so much relate to feeling more comfortable being surrounded by men and boys in my earlier teens. And yeah, you feel so disconnected actually from the whole femininity and your womb space and everything. It's, and you so much more you come becoming almost a slightly manly, or have the boyish energy instead of actually connecting to your female
Yeah.
energy. So how did it impact you then in your earlier life, like in the young teens and your young adulthood? And because it's so I don't remember how old you are, because yeah, you still look young and fabulous, but you
40.
said like,
I'm
is it,
40.
oh, you're 40.
Yeah.
So it was in your in your early 30s, you started the journey with your mother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It started in Bali 10 years ago when I had an accident.
Oh,
A surfboard accident where an American lady, her nose from her surfboard crashed directly into my rib cage, and I had a liver trauma. And in this moment, I screamed at her. All my anger came up. I suppressed for the last 30 years of my life, and I was really not prepared what is happening in this moment, because I've never seen myself in such a situation that all my anger is coming out. And that was okay. I just pedaled out, and I knew here is a point that something is beginning, because I was really addicted to cigarettes as well, and
mm,
they helped me really to suppress all this anger what I could not communicate to her. Because
mm,
when I stopped smoking, I really realized, okay, I've used the cigarettes to turn around and not speak to her about it, because she was not listening to me, she was not hearing me. So
yeah.
it was totally connected to to my mother, this whole
Wow.
addiction topic, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and then slowly I realized, okay, what I'm doing in my relationships with men as well, what I'm attracting, am I really the woman or am I the man? So I was always the man somehow in the relationship, and took over the jobs and tasks what a man should do or is good in.
Yeah, yeah.
And one after the other, I had a really clear look on my life, what's going on, and took every part and worked on it. The inner child,
Yeah.
the relationship topic. I stepped out for really many years to bring clarity into that field as well. And the last 7 years, I would say, I'm just surrounded by women in my life. There is no man. There is, except my son. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had really a good close look to connect with this deep primal femininity, what we deeply care in us, and what does it mean, because I could not learn it from my mother or from other templates
Yeah.
in my life, and that was important to find out. Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking right now that um because I know that you are from Germany and
Austria.
Austria. I
Yeah.
thought you were from Germany.
No, Austrian.
Ah, okay. Sorry for that.
All good.
But I'm we are born and raised in Europe, and Europe has, like a long history of almost like there's been a lot of going on here, and we had to survive and stuff like that. Do you also think it's coming from that the women are a little more in general just not in tune with the femininity or the female energy? And
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. It started with the introduction of the anti-baby pill. If you ask me, somehow it has it
Mm,
was a breakthrough for us women somehow to have the decision about it. But on the other way it was really a way to play the man.
yeah.
For the last 30 years, we played really the man, the young dream. I don't need anybody. And yeah, it was necessary maybe to heal also our femininity somehow,
Yeah.
and the divine feminine. But now I really feel we are going back to find out what is the real, what are we real, what is our position in society as well.
Such a great topic. Such a
Mm.
deep topic. I love that because it's yeah, I'm so totally on that too, that the pill actually, what did it actually do good for, or was it actually better back then actually to introduce already back then how you can, track your menstrual cycle and figure out when you can get pregnant or not. Because yeah, where are we now? It's and was it even necessary? Did we need more workforce? Did we need to deplete the Mother Earth even more? Instead of finding out how sorry, but I'm always feeling that, like, oh shit, shouldn't we stop at one point? But how, what would it have impacted instead if we went back a little more to tribe life? Because I think also in Europe in general, we just so separated. And I just talked to a mom yesterday again. She's so alone with her child sometimes, and
It's
be-
unnatural.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
totally unnatural to live one parent with a child, or we always lived in tribes, always.
always. And it's like, yeah, why? Well, now we went a little bit off the topic, but yeah,
Mm.
why are we not striving towards more that, like figuring out actually what feels more natural for a woman, so we can kind of lean back into the feminine energy
Learn
and
to receive. That's my answer.
learn to receive. What do can you elaborate on that? Like,
I believe through my years also as a yoga teacher, and yin yoga helped me a lot to dive deep into this feminine um, area again, because we are always the doers, the givers.
mm,
And where is our place to receive? Can we receive?
yeah,
And yin yoga is inviting you to receive, to just be for a moment. And that's total feminine, or the receiving, the surrender to the softness.
yeah,
And where do we have our cages around our heart? No, we can do that. We are strong enough. And yin yoga is teaching you exactly the opposite: to let go, to surrender, to be, to step into this trust, into this space, into this self-love somehow.
yeah, true.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then how do we learn to receive in that sense? Like, because I feel like that is a big topic. Actually, I had another one on podcast with that. It's that it's easier to give, but we talked a little about this receiving part. Then yeah, funny enough, when I'm thinking about it now, then if you have to receive, you have to open your heart and be more vulnerable. What do you think about that?
That's a good question. I don't have really an answer, because I just have the picture to to stand with open hands somehow,
Mm,
in deep faith and trust that everything is given to you, what is needed somehow in every moment.
yeah.
And I have a good example for it. I remember when my son was, I think, 3 or 4 months, and I lived in a flat, and I always in the first floor, and the pram, I had to get up, and I always, when somebody was coming, always in these moments, and wanted to help me, I said, no, I can do it. And one day I was standing in my flat, and I was thinking, why I don't let them help me?
Mm,
Because I know when I can help somebody, I'm also happy. Why I'm taking them the happiness somehow to help away, to give.
yeah,
And that
exactly.
was really a moment I was thinking, okay, that's a total control thing, what we are having, yeah, the
Yeah,
control of what I take and what I give. And sometimes control is also connected to love. The one that gives has more power about you, or something like that. If we have so many uh, fields vibrating in our system that are connected to giving, taking, control, and that must be cleaned and cleared out, because that are all patterns, imprints, that are not the reality, that are not the truth, if you ask me.
So it's kind of a good idea to like dive deeper into why you have such a hard time to receiving or maybe even giving. I think like so 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 like uncovering your patterns around it. Why is it so hard?
Exactly.
Why was it so hard for you to say yes to get help on the stairs in your
Yeah.
flat, right?
Yeah.
Like what did you uncover?
Yeah, the one that I uncovered, the one that gives has the control.
Ooh.
That was my yeah, that I have learned somehow when this, yeah, one of my imprints. And through the inquiry with all these certain topics around, you are going deeper into the core wounds, because everything else are just the symptoms you are treating all the time, and it is a never ending story. So you have really to reach the seed of what I'm doing, why I'm doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way. Hmm.
For me it was, for example, it's counting points. So if I do something for you, I have a point. I like it.
Ah,
Yeah.
again, a
Uh,
bargain.
It's a bargain, yeah. So if I would take something from from the neighbor, I would be in debt with him or her. And
Mm-hmm.
so I need to like give him the favor back. And so I would be in debt, I think it's called, from him. And then I wouldn't feel good, and I would feel like I have to, do something instead of just being happy that he did something for me or something like that. And
Yeah,
then I
that
can
is an
always give somebody else something, right? So it will be a
Mhm.
point system for me.
Wow. Or
So it's so crazy, and this definitely comes from my mom. If I do something for you, you do something for me, and it's like, okay. And it's such a stress for my body to live that way, because I always felt like, okay, what can I then do to make this even, so
mm,
I'm not. Because, oh yeah, now it's coming. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's because then they always can say, yeah, but I did this for you, so you have to do this for me. So it will be
mhm.
so they would come up with a task that I involuntarily want to do. So it becomes like, oh shit. So if I give something now, at one point they will expect something from me I don't want to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Wow, this is also a mm, really tricky game with energy, I would say. Or
It is, and
uh,
and it's something I'm deeply working on, especially when we moved into the society we did now, or not society, to this community, and the neighbors are so nice here, and we really help each other. But I'm really trying to. So if I go for a walk, I help the neighbor right now. I will take the dog for a walk tonight, and then I just leave it. I don't expect anything back. Then I just hope that because I take the dog for a walk, then he will do something different for another neighbor. So the energy goes around instead of it's
mm,
forward and backward. And
yeah,
and I try to tell him that too. Don't, like, I do this from my heart, and I don't expect anything back from you, because I need to
yeah,
heal that wound.
yeah. And this is giving unconditionally, or and
Yeah.
also receiving unconditionally, or
Woo, woo. Namaste.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think
And
that is,
also there is connected this being enough. That is one of the biggest topics that are related to mother wounds as well. This being enough,
mm,
never being enough. And that is also to your, when I listen to it, am I enough when I'm not doing the favor she wants from me,
yeah, true.
for example?
Yeah. Am I doing enough? Like, for example, God, let's talk about some wounding. So I it was Mother's Day, and I remember it so clearly. I think I was probably around 6 or 7, and I had no idea because I was 7 that that was a Mother's Day. And my dad, of course, had forgotten it because he's a dad. They forget stuff. And she was so angry at me that I didn't give her anything. And I was like, oh shit, So I went out in the garden and I found a plant and I made a little pot plant. And then I always got like small 20 coins from my grandma back then. And so I had a lot of them, and I put a little one of them in there and put it on in the front door. And then she could come out and see I made a little gift for her, but she was still angry. So yeah, but I think she was angry for weeks after this. And it's like, yeah, so this definitely makes you not feeling good enough, because even though you try to make it up for your dad forgetting and me just being 7, um, it was never enough. So of course, then it's like a deep wound inside of you, like, oh, so you then over deliver all the time. You want to make it really good because when will she turn around and say it's enough? Enough, thank you very much, or something. Woo. What?
Overgiving as well is a kind of way you develop through these actions. Yeah. And in the end, we blame our mothers that they couldn't nourish us with the love and energy unconsciously all the time, and they feel it as well, because they feel as well from us, our daughters, hey, I did not make my job good enough.
Yeah.
So we mirror them all the time and push their buttons as well.
What a shit show.
That was so interesting to have a look on that as well, what I'm doing unconsciously with my behavior to her.
Yeah. So how did you, let's go back to that a little bit. How did you then, how was the 7 years of healing, and how, because I know that you're going to write a book about this, and what was some of the steps you took? And even, like you said, this is such an interesting point, Uli, this with the, how do we then start mirroring it back? And because I know that at one point I definitely, I just had to forgive, and let it go. But still, energetically, I don't think I'm not there yet. Like I'm not good at just.
It takes time.
Yeah. So what did you do? Like, let's dive into a little bit, like what now I want to make a hot chocolate and listen to you how you made the journey, because what is.
Oh.
And did your mom actually know this and stuff? Many questions.
Oh yeah, there are many questions. No, she didn't knew it, but in the end of the journey, I was really stepping into her field, and I said, I have enough. I don't want to carry certain stories with me anymore. And we had a really open conversation, and we cleared also in her field unconscious parts, and that was the final healing step between us two, I would say. But first of all, my body was pushing me into the direction to go always deeper and deeper, because my cancer smear test was not good, was really bad.
Cancer?
Yeah, in my utero. And 4 doctors wanted to make a conization, and I said, no, that's not the solution for it. I knew it deeply that this is not the solution for the problem. And so I started really to work with womb healings, with psychotherapy, with my tools. I have the Akashic records to work in on a soul level. On that topic was my final puzzle piece. A lot of past life regressions as well, with mother wounds, sister wounds, witch wounds, and so on, was flowing into the system. Self-inquiry, clearings, clearings from quantum field techniques. That was really my process. And I could feel how the relationship between us really developed in another direction somehow, always through the years.
Oh, wow.
And in the end, the topic between her and me was not really something to work on in the feminine line. Yes, of course, as well with her mother, because she was given away, but the root was her father. And
Okay.
that was really a big aha, because I would not have looked at it. And that was interesting how the universe were showing me the direction, because I could not move my neck in one direction anymore. I could not move to the left. And then a healer said to me, yeah, but think on it. When you can't look on the left side, the feminine side, they try to that you have a look on the right side, on the masculine side. And I was leaning back and thinking, wow, yeah, osteopathy, what else? There were so many different tools, Ayurveda, also a really, really, really important doctor in Germany. He was working to have a look on the blood with the what is missing in your
Yeah.
system, elements. And so, yeah, I really pushed my system from the other side, stress release, to put the stress out of
Yeah.
all, really just decide for what is important, what is lifting me up, where is my love going. So my body showed me the way in the end. And that was a big one for me, because I'm preaching since 20 years as a therapist and healer and yoga teacher. Your body is your temple. And then poof, you're getting a punch into your face and your body says, yes, then have a look on it. And every pain and every sickness is a portal into healing, if you decide so. And that was my portal into healing. And I know many women have problems with it, and they take it from the doctors because they have no other ways, or they see
Yeah.
no other ways out. And that is I feel it's really my mission to open up the consciousness that there are other ways you can choose to walk.
Yeah.
That
Very interesting, because well, that is also my mission. Let's go together, because I had the same thing, right? When I had an accident before I went to Bali, and then I went on my healing journey there, and I met so many incredible women who just, opened my eyes to the to how we can heal differently. But what I want to put a point on what you're saying is especially how it the effect with your mother sits in the body. The body is your temple. What an eye-opening moment, right? We are preaching that all the time, and somehow we always want to meditate ourselves out of space here, but the body actually gives you the answer in, especially in your womb space, right? How many women are not have, like, I think it's over 50% of women having menstrual cycle cramps, and which is not necessary, which we both learn from our little guru Bex. And I don't know if she's little. I think she's taller than me. But anyways, like, how fascinating is that you I wanted, because you glided over the cancer part quite quickly. Did you heal it then? And what about your cramps? I want to hear more about the because I think, again, what, like you said, women don't just go to the doctors and take a pill for it to get it away, and so the signs of the body is like washed away until it sticks out somewhere else. It can be in the neck, it can be in the, in the knee, because now you're numbed in your womb space. So
yeah,
oh,
and
let's
that
talk
is
more
just
about
a
this.
symptom. Yeah, and the body part is also always interesting where it is. And I mean, womb, and it's called in German Gebärmutter,
Yeah.
the organ is the word mother in the German. So, I mean, how clear can it be to have a look there? And the cramps, yeah, to inquiry with this feminine topic. I pushed it the whole life away, and Ayurveda helped me a lot with
Yeah.
it. And step into my femininity and to love my period and to see how powerful my period. That was the changing moment. I never had a cramp. I welcome my menstruation. Hello, queen, when she's arriving, because I
Mm.
know what power is in there. And I really wish that every girl in this world, when they should learn about it, how to use their cycle and their, you know, it,
I know
how
it.
it works.
Well, it's my biggest passion as well because I had mind numbing pain, like, and then I finally, yeah, I don't know it. I learned it a couple of years ago in the middle of the forest of Sweden, and I was like, whoa, I have to look more into that. I already knew that, you also have to figure out what you eat, and also, and again, talking about the depletion of the body if you grow up in a home that was not loving. It's, I think we forget about that part, actually, how many minerals and vitamins the body needs to push extra when you are, for example, in flight or fight mode,
Mm,
growing up, stress, not feeling that you're loved or enough. It's not just an emotional thing in that sense. It actually, the body also you know takes takes all the nutrients out of your body to support the glands and the organs
mm,
to deal with this overload of stress in your body.
yeah.
um
And also, I remembered what was really helpful. The last cramps that I had, that I really gave them the allowance to be,
yeah,
to expand them, not to suppress it and push it down. It works with everything in life, but the pain, let it be, show me, tell me what you have to tell me, where I have to look or go next.
yeah,
And then
very,
slowly, mm,
yeah, no, that's so true. Then slowly leaning into it and listen
mm,
to the answers, or what do you think?
mm, exactly. And that's, I believe, in every woman a different answer somehow,
Yeah,
but in the end, not, you know, because it's our femininity.
yeah, and it's been hiding away for so many years, and I think it definitely, I think there's a revolution on the way, because there's been all this feminist stuff going on where I also feel it's quite manly because it's quite aggressive in a sense,
Yeah,
and I
that's
feel,
really the wrong way. That you
yeah,
hurt us and blah blah blah, and I'm just thinking, yeah, that's the same.
it's exactly,
Or
it is the same, and I feel like also it's not that men are like, um they also have a big wound to heal, right? What is it to be a man is in this world? And I feel,
mm,
but instead of like, again, we are just blaming others, like let's sit in a circle and talk about it instead, and figuring
mm,
out, what could actually feel right, and maybe also seek out like women who maybe been in a lineage of women who been, been supporting each other and had like a kind of a loving, supported childhood, and is look towards that instead, and maybe old tribes, I don't know, but I don't feel like going on the street and blame men, white privileged men, for our misery. It's definitely not the
no, no,
solution.
no. And that's an important point, because that was also a really big breakthrough in my own healing journey, because I worked with one woman. She was growing up in a really healthy lineage and was teaching more than Mary Magdalene Rose teachings.
Mm,
And yeah, deep, that this knowledge is coming back again to us. That was suppressed as well, how many thousands of years, when you think back, that there is not just Jesus. No, he had also the feminine side on his side.
yeah, he had, they They seem quite like a very, very balanced couple, actually. But we never heard the story of her because the church like just washed her away, like almost
Mm.
made her a secret and like a dirty thing, almost.
Yeah.
Or not
Yeah.
almost, they did.
Yeah. How many years we have been dirty because we bleed? Come on. We must not talk about it. They had fear from us because we were in our full power in this moment.
Exactly. We could actually
We,
just close our legs and then there will be no humans.
yeah, exactly. Easy
I
as
think,
it is.
yeah, I think it's just such a weird like thing that this is still a topic that is not clean. It's like it's the main thing. It's like what makes everything um yeah, grow in this world is the woman.
Mm.
And
Mm.
and also not that. I was just reading a book about that too. Oh yeah, it's the what the fifth vital sign from I don't remember the author, but she was also saying one thing that's more important actually than the period is the ovulation, and we're forgetting about this whole part of it. And yeah, anyways, I just went up topic there again, but I think it's coming back to that. I think really
I
reconnecting.
mean, this topic is so huge, and
Yeah,
when you think on mother wound, you can go in so many directions here.
yeah,
And when, as I told you, when you heal one point, so many others are also healing in your field, in your own life.
yeah.
How you relate, and also what you attract, which kind of women are coming into your life when you have integrated this divine feminine in yourself. That's also so interesting, and I'm so blessed with all the women I have around. I must say I'm deeply grateful because that's a really supportive tribe. Mm.
That is so beautiful. I think that is I'm still on the road to fully being in the seat of my feminine, because I have like I must admit that I have a big um I feel like I'm distancing myself a little bit from women because I'm so scared of the uh yeah, I
The
think it's
wound
yeah,
to
the
be
wound.
hurt. Mm.
Yeah, being what is it? Because my mom, like one of the things she did was not talking to me if I didn't behave properly. So that is my absolutely deepest wound, and I'm fully aware of it. And so I'm scared if I get too close to a woman and I should then, misbehave in a certain way, then she
Mhm.
would like close me out of her life like immediately. And so that's why I'm still working on that part of the feminine and trying really to let them come close to me. I think
Mm.
also the podcast is also a way to do that, where I'm finally sharing some of these wounds,
Mm.
and in the hope of healing, of course, and in the hope of also inspiring other women to come closer, because I don't think it's just me. I think it's a lot of us, being even the way we were together in school with our girlfriends, and then we were quite, sometimes we were bitches, like we were not treating each other really nicely. This look at her.
I
Yeah,
actually stepped out from school because I was in the age of 15, in my, the only class just women, and I could not handle it. I stepped out from the
yeah,
school.
because what was going on, like
The
how?
behavior, the
Yeah,
behavior, how women are to each other, and that is this old paradigm somehow that is really dying. I feel it's really dying. We are going into another direction. Um, yes, and where I wanted to go was the woundings. I've lost the thread.
I
I've
could
lost the
see
thread.
that.
Yeah.
So I was talking about all the female relationship I have, like being afraid to come too close
Yeah.
to them. Yeah. Does something come back to your mind? And I'm saying that.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a big point to have a look on that, and really have it as a tool, as a guide somehow to yeah, having a look on it, that not every woman is in this way, and that was her way to protect herself, and accept it as that's the way it is, and not, and until you have not forgiven her for this behavior,
Yeah.
always when these topics are coming up, you see it, you are being grateful for it, you say thank you, and then it's the time to let it go,
Yeah.
give it over. That's not the truth. That's not the truth.
Such a great way to say it, actually. It's not the truth, because I think that is something when I was having, I will not say awakening, but I was slightly awakening in Bali, that all the beliefs and behaviors and patterns, and really having a good look at it and actually seeing what is the truth for me, right? Because we are growing up then believing it has to be this way. So we think this is the way.
Mm.
But it's not. Like, all just because one dog bites you, not all dogs are bad dogs.
Exactly. But they leave footprints in your print. I would say in your blueprint somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot, and we have, as a grown up, that was one really big point. You are responsible for your own feelings, thoughts, and emotions. And we make our mothers responsible for that, what we think
Mm.
and what we feel, but
Yeah.
they aren't. And when I took my inner Uli into my healing cave and gave her the things that she was needing, I didn't need her anymore. This cord cutting.
Yeah.
Cutting it with our mothers, if we don't have the cords cut, and that takes a long of time, it's getting difficult.
It really does. That brings me to something I think that's quite interesting, because I did a lot of cord cutting as well, and also some child healing, inner child healing. Because one thing is, like, when you kind of, now I'm using the word neglected, like emotionally from your mom. There's also the other aspect of it, like the other way you are emotionally too much overprotected from your mom protects you too much, and you're all over the place, or almost you become like besties and girlfriends. And again, I think then you have, like, I think some women also have like a hard time to cut the cords there, because
Yeah.
being then an individual, do you think that this is a forgotten task, or a forgotten thing that we did before in our life? Because I know that in the tribes they did it with men, where they had to go on a quest into the forest and figuring out what man they want to be. So they got separated from, they cut the cord from the dead, in a sense. But how are we doing it as daughters? Because I think that a lot of women also are too connected to their moms, and not really, you know, because
Yeah, having these healthy boundaries, because I know in Spanish families how it is. It's so interesting, the cultures as well, that the mothers-in-law have much more to say in the families than the wife of the man. And
oh
that is
yeah,
the reason. Yeah, I have a Spanish friend. She said she didn't marry it, or she decided consciously to bring up her son alone, because she didn't wanted the Spanish system, that his mother has more to say than she. I
wow,
mean,
yeah.
and also I have another example of friends where they broke up, they divorced in the end, because um, the relationship between the woman and her mother was so intense that the man couldn't handle. that was too much to him. So that is the other side.
Yeah. And
And this cord cutting or letting go between, it takes years. A psychologist told me some are really quick, some are really slow, but there is no recipe. I guess there is really no recipe. Everybody is doing it in a different way. It
yeah,
depends also, are you living close to each other, are you being abroad from her parents or mother? I think in the end it's yeah, unconditional love, that you have a good connection, feeling the support to each other when it's needed, that there is somebody there, but not getting drawn in and triggered and full of anger. What was happened, the past is the past, we can't change it, we're living in the now.
yeah.
And yeah, we're taking full responsibility for how we feel.
That is true. That is such a hard truth. And I don't know, it comes up in every podcast actually. And I almost tell the story in every podcast because that was the woman I met, Bobby, in Bali, who told me that. She said to me, "You have to stop complaining, Nikki, about your parents. You're old enough now." I'm like, oh, what? I need
Yeah,
to be a grown up and have like take care of my own emotional like damage and all this stuff that I need to deal with this now. I was so surprised. Honestly, Oli, I was so surprised. I was like, really? Is that a concept?
the truth. Co-regulation is over.
Damn.
And if
Damn.
it was not a good co-regulation, it's easy to let go, I always say, or
Yeah, true, true. So how is your relationship with your mother today then?
peaceful. She can do and be whatever she wants to be, and it doesn't yeah, it doesn't trigger me anymore or something. It is like it is.
Yeah.
It's totally different. Totally different.
Is it so I'm wondering now because peaceful is one thing that you Ollie feel inside.
Mm.
But
Mm.
another thing, do you feel like you have a close relationship to her, or did you, because that isn't because one thing is finding peace in who she is and what happened and all this stuff.
Mm.
But yeah, did you find a closer relationship, or is it just
I mean, I find I can talk with her about everything, I would say.
okay? Yeah,
And yeah, it is just honoring her and gratitude somehow for that she was my life giver. And in the end, she was my biggest obstacle in my life, I say. And is somehow that the biggest obstacle we have in our life is also our purpose and mission.
yeah, true,
So she gave it to me.
beautiful actually.
And it was also interesting that one of my last sessions I had, he was a little bit a channeler, see, and he said, "You know what? I want to tell you one sentence before you leave." And I said, "What is it?" And he said, "You have nothing to do with your family." And I said, "I have nothing to do with my family," because I felt always like the black sheep in my family. My mother has 7 brothers and sisters. And I said, yeah, because you decided to come here and break these codes because you knew you can.
Ooh, that's
And
juicy.
that's a big part. I think that we are really the generation that are breaking the codes from our ancestral um, heritage,
Yeah,
the genetic ones.
yeah.
Also, the good ones and the not so good ones, the traumatic ones. We carry both.
God, I like that so much because that is so
Mm.
true. Because I don't have, do you have siblings?
No.
No, me too. So Well, so there's no white sheeps. Sheeps.
No, no. And it's also so interesting in my family, all my cousins, we got all boys, and all my mother's sisters, they got all girls. So one of the girls had to do it, and I'm the oldest one.
Ah, wow. No, I think
Please,
that is sorry.
good. Go.
No, I think that's so incredible. That's such a good way of saying it, that instead of also looking at being different, like the black sheep, like looking at it as something good. So it's more the colorful, the rainbow sheep instead. Maybe we should recolor the sheep.
Yeah, in all the colors.
Exactly. But what I was then, so what will some of the main lessons be in the book you are writing, and who would the book be for? Because I'm so interested in that. I have so many more questions. Can I just leave that question for
Oh,
a moment before with the book and then
yeah.
ask you, did you see a difference in your relationship with your child after you healed? How old is your boy? I know that he's a boy though, but
Yeah, Noah is 7 now.
okay.
Um, no, but I feel he is released, that I'm having another relationship. He feels different when we are together, my mother, he and me.
Yeah.
He could feel the tension between us always somehow, and now he is released as well. I don't know what it means for his future, for sure a lot, if he's getting children.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I think that's a beautiful teaching that because yeah, children are so energetic and so much more in tune to source or the universe than we are. So he will definitely learn that it's possible to heal a relationship between women.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, very beautiful. Yeah, so
Hmm.
yeah, I just because I remember I would just wanted to ask that. So what about yeah, what is the main things in your book you're going to teach, and who will the book be for?
Hmm. The main things I will be teaching is I think to broaden your horizon,
Mm,
how you dive deeper into your femininity, how to um, connect with your divine feminine on in other directions. I can't say it yet because I'm just bringing all the thoughts I have together. It is weaving together to have tools from, because my father was a doctor, so I'm, and my mother a kinesiologist, so I have both sides. I grew up with it, and I love the Eastern and Western medicine, and bring all the knowledge I collected over the last 30 years somehow together here.
yeah,
Because I just know people, they say, oh, the Western medicine is shit, and they just go for the Ayurveda, DCM, I don't know, or the hardliners, they say everything else is not, doesn't matter, just the Western medicine is the good one. And I really would love to expand the horizon here in all the directions and give you, because I know many have the problems in their wombs and they have no
mm,
idea what to do.
mm. So true.
They try, or fertility is also such a big topic in there, such a
Yeah,
big topic, and
yeah,
it is related to mother, it can be related to mother wounds as well.
yeah. Yeah, and I
So
don't also think that it has a lot to do also with the Western medicine, right? Because how can I'm always wondering because I know Jens's grandma and all her siblings and all that stuff were popping out babies like it was like M&Ms, right? Then suddenly we are coming to our generation where this is then you need fertility help, right? It's just like a 50 years of generation shift and suddenly we can't pop those babies anymore and we need help from the doctor. Sorry for saying it that way. But I'm just amazed
mm,
because they were also 7 siblings. When we go to a family party, we are 80 people on Jens's side. I was like, baby, it's like shit. And so what happened? Oh, sorry for interrupting you there too. But yeah.
yeah, all good, all good. Yeah, yeah, and there are so many also to bring a light into that field. What is a mother wound, or
Yeah. What is it?
and that's the main part of the topic to read, because I know so many women have heart pain and they cry at home alone because that is not working, and it's like a virus that spreads in all the directions, and in the end, this divine union that we wish with a partner, this
Mm,
divine masculine and divine feminine, cannot happen if you haven't integrated that part in yourself. How
yeah.
shall it happen that my relationships were always the mirror and I could not see it?
Yeah.
I wished something that could not be possible because I haven't integrated it inside of me.
Wow. Powerful stuff.
Mm. And that will be the main part of this book, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be an incredible book, and I'm so happy you're writing it, even though it's still like downloading, from
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's the most important topic right now. It's healing that wound. And I know it's a little bit off the topic, but I have a yoga classes here in the city now. And they always want to talk after a yoga class. And I had 3 women and they all in menopause. And I'm quite open with everything. I talk about everything, and so somehow we came about women's circle and talking about the menopause stuff, and then one of the women saying, "I'm dealing with what is it, urine infection all the
Mm-hmm.
time," and then the other women were saying, "Oh well, we do too." And suddenly they had like the one of them felt like she was the only one having this problem. and and so they started talking, and I didn't know because I'm not in menopause, but they just started sharing. I was just standing
Yeah.
there, and afterward they told me, before they went out the door, the one woman turned to me, "I'm so happy you're opening up this, because I actually thought I was the only one. I'm still suffering from urinary infection, but because I'm not the only one, I can walk happy out of the door now." And I think this goes for everything, right? With the wound healing, it's not only our mothers, it's all also the sisters
Yeah.
around us.
Yeah. Yeah. All.
Uh, just sharing that stuff with each other, and that you're not the only one having that wound, or the infection, or um yeah. I just had
Yeah.
another woman on the podcast with the yeast infection, right? Like, how many of us are suffering from that, and why? Yeah.
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 Exactly.
So I'm just so curious how. So I would love to ask you, what is something, so what is one woman should be aware of? Like, what is some of the symptoms of a mother wound, if you can say that? Like, where would you say is like 3 or 4 things that we can look out for, and maybe actually starting the healing journey?
There is just one. If you ask me, if you don't have a good connection to her, or you don't even know her,
Yeah.
is also possible. Many women don't even know their mothers, their real ones. Then I would really connect with this topic in myself
Yeah.
and having a look. I mean, if you're having a happy life and you don't feel it, then you must not have a look on it. But I believe your mother is the one that shows you directly
What is
if
up?
you're
Yeah.
having a, yeah.
And also, do you feel like, also, I also feel like like you said before, with the physical symptoms, right? Like menstrual issues, or even cancer cells developing in the uterus. And because that was also, I don't think, did we talk about it even in depth a little more? So that was because you said that you wanted to not having the whole thing out because you were sure that it was connected to your mother wound.
Mm. Exactly. That would have been the normal way. And
Mm,
I really had to check up with, I let it, 4 different doctors checked it, and they told me everyone the same. And I said, okay, good to know. I don't do it. It's risky, yeah, of course, it's risky because they play with fear as well,
oof,
because it
yeah.
can go really worse, and you should not play because you are in an age there it's we should take it serious, and blah 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 blah. And they do a lot of other different studies as well with you. um yeah, but sometimes or you have this deeply knowing that's not the solution,
Yeah,
that's just cutting the grass and not getting the root. So,
very true.
and to give a solution, because sometimes you do it and it's not over. When you think, okay, I do this operation now and then it's done, like a placebo somehow you
Mm,
give yourself, but it's coming back because
it was not
your
resolved.
thinking and your emotional is not resolved. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
also, well, the uterus and is one of the most vital organs for the woman. I'm always thinking if you just take that out or whatever you can do or do a snippy snoop or whatever, what is the consequence after that? Like when the uterus are not in action anymore and producing the certain hormones and just a part of the whole system, will the what is the after effects? Do we even know that yet in the long run?
No, we don't know.
No. No, I also had some changes. They also found some changes in my cells way back. I think that is probably 15 years ago. And I was just not gonna react on it. I'm just not gonna react on it. I'm just gonna be much more healthy and quit, all the stuff, drinking and smoking and starting my healing journey because I just knew this. No, no, I was not buying into the fear.
Hmm.
Um, that's 15 years ago. So I was such a young chook. They could just have imprinted shit in me there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and I bleed in my heart when I hear they just do it, or like nothing is happening. And
Instead of giving another solution, right? I also, even with the pill, oh man, but that's a whole nother topic. you know, um, well, we talked a lot about this also with bags, but even my Jens's sister's niece are starting on the pill and she's 15, and I'm like, because she was sick when she got her period, and I'm like, it's such a quick solution to just put those young women on the pill because they actually really don't get to know themselves. And well, if you think about a teenager's diet, what they eat, of course you are, you know. And going back to the mother wound again, what is there to be surfaced, right? Oh, why are we not talking about this, Uli? Like, why is it not more in the open?
yeah, it's a huge one, I told you.
Yeah,
And I'm happy that I can forward maybe some light prints or light paths for other women, that they're getting inspired, or that they think around the corner.
yeah, yeah. I think so. You will. It's very inspiring work you're doing there, and yeah, we just need to in both of our different ways, different way we speak, like getting it out to the world and to the young women, and and doing the healing circles. I know you're doing a lot of stuff on that too, where you work together with women. And yeah, so yeah, but I coming to some last questions for you. I always has, but so tell me something that is true for you that almost nobody else is agreeing with you on.
Tell me something what is true for me. That is a good question.
Thank you. And you can take your time to think about it because it's quite fascinating. So
in which relation?
it could be everything. It doesn't have to be mother wound. It could be in just in general, like what do you, because sometimes it's also a little thing we would not dare to say, out loud, actually, that oh, I believe in this. Um, but you would be afraid to share it because it's most of the people don't really would agree with you on it. So it's not a relation into the topic we talked about it today.
Yeah.
It could be just in general.
To be honest, I'm not fearful to share any. I share everything, and I
Yeah.
don't care if somebody wants to hear it or not, or it's truth or not. Um, so I have nothing on my mind, to be serious.
That's okay. Nothing
No,
controversial like beliefs you have in your mind where you're thinking, no,
no, nothing is coming to my mind. I'm sorry.
no worries. No worries, because I have more questions for you. Um, what is the most important thing you learned in your life? What was your life like before you learned it? And what is your life after you've been learning it?
To put my needs on the first,
Yes.
I would
Ooh.
say that was the biggest one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that one.
I
Um,
think it doesn't need more, or
no, I think that is perfect. Um, and then if you had a billboard, a big billboard in a city, what would be on it? What would your saying, or what would your message to the world be on that billboard so everybody could see it?
love yourself now.
Beautiful. I love it. That's such a good one. I will make a billboard for you. I love.
Easy, and everything is in. Being in
Yeah.
the present, loving yourself.
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
maybe that's already covering the next question. But what is, if you could leave behind three truths, what would they be?
I can control nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That was the teaching of my birth or giving birth.
Mm.
Mm, but there is so much I can't say now. I must think about that. The other ones
Yeah.
too.
But you already gave some good ones in the other ones.
Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Go on.
that's it. Cool. And is there anything I left out on in this podcast? Any question you thought I should have asked you? Do you feel like there's anything left out you wanted to talk about, or
There is just coming one picture in. I would love to share with every woman, and it's so important that uh, each single woman is sitting on their green thrones somehow, and that they realizing how powerful they are, and let the others do around you. That's the feminine flavor or essence, yeah, to
mm,
really feel in this beautiful dress with the crown, and you're being taken care of
beautiful?
because you are. There must nothing be else. You are, and that's enough. Like we say in your soham,
So
or
yeah, yeah, I like that. Oh, it almost brings my shoulders a little bit down when you say that we are. And there's nothing, you know, you can just receive and just sit on a throne. I love that.
Yeah, it happens anyway. When you
Yeah.
are going into this minus, into this yin, the universe is supporting you with the stuff that is needed. I would not say needed, what wants to flow to you. When
Yeah.
you're always in this plus power, 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 how can the universe supply you? Not possible, or and that's the
Mm,
yin. To go into this minus, to lean back, to trust that everything is flowing to you.
wow.
That's my final advice I
That
would give.
is absolutely beautiful. I think that sums everything up we just been talking about.
Mm.
I think that's so beautiful. And Uli, if somebody wants to work with you or know more about your work, I know that you do also both, I don't know, both online workshops and offline, and you're writing the book. Where can they find you?
They can find me on uma-healing.com. I'm
Mm-hmm.
living on Mallorca and I'm offering some things here on the island. In person, it's always possible to work with me online as well. I have also this UMA Angel Divine Light emergency call if there is something really um, special. You can get in touch, and I'm really my speciality is as well to switch energy in really in a quick time, in a fast time. If you want to drop deeper with Akashic Records healings, it's possible. So yeah, I'm therapist since over 20 years now.
Wow.
I love to, I go always over the body. I'm a body worker. So I'm here. I'm happy to guide and support always because that's my passion and mission. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you. Cool. And I will also link it down below so people can just click and get easy access to you. That sounded too weird.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for today, Uli. It was absolutely amazing and beautiful going with you on this journey on mother wound healing and relationship healing. I think we really covered some beautiful topics today and something really to think about, and we gave some great tools for the women out there. So thank you.
Thank you, Nikki, for having me. And it was a pleasure to talk with you so open and in a safe, sacred space. And I love your work too, that you are doing and opening up for women these sensitive topics that are so important.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. Thank you for saying that.
thank you.
Thank you.